up our amazing editor, Nathan Poonwar. Yes, Nathan. I don't know if you made it here in time for Baltimore, but our amazing composer, Todd Griffin, are you here? There he is. Hey. Loki Films line producer, Christina Gonzalez, stand up. Associate editor, Victor Artesona. Our amazing coach coordinator, Nicole Ayer. And our colorist, Will Cox, who made it look so pretty. Yay, Will! Yes, and then, we have some translators here. If they would stand up, I think Ava and Sarah are both here. They're so much dialect. Thank you, ladies. That was hard. AI didn't work for the accents. They had to do it live. Okay. It's all yours, Blair.
Oh my gosh, I just want to say also for the audience, I'm a dog sledder. I've been dog sledding for 20 years, and this is going to be one of the great works of art about mushing. It captures it so beautifully. I've never seen something that captures what dog sledding does to your heart as much as this film. So thank you for that. It's going to be a classic.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot our associate producer, Bella Comfort. Please stand up. Bella, where are you? Bella. Thank you, Bella. Yes. Sorry, I forgot. Thank you.
That's okay. So I know we don't have that much time, so I want to jump straight to what surprised you about making this film. What surprised you in the process?
What surprised us? I mean, pretty much everything. It was, I think we were watching young people do hard things and learning how to do those hard things ourselves. So it was like we were going to Folk High School, and it was making this movie was really hard. But I didn't think we anticipated all the technical difficulties of shooting in this area with this age group, in this weather, in this place. And so everything was like a new test every time we would shoot. And it was a series of puzzles that we had to solve. And so I think that was really surprising. Every single shoot had some sort of new challenge ahead of us. And I guess it was surprising, I mean, how intimately close we also got to the students. I didn't expect to fall so in love with these young people as we did.
I would say something that was an extremely pleasant surprise was, as a New Yorker, what happens to your body when there is no noise pollution or light pollution. You don't know how it is. When you get out of here, it resets your nervous system. So for me, it was like a physical shock when I get there, because it was so quiet and it felt really amazing. And you just realize how much stimulation you're constantly getting, your body's getting.
How did you get the idea for this film? What inspired you?
Well, I read a book by Blair Braverman called Welcome to the Goddamn Ice Cube. This is a true story. During the COVID, I heard a podcast, the last 9 seconds of a podcast, and you were saying something about going down the trail and the dogs making decisions, and I was with my husband, and I wrote down, I said, who was that? That was Blair Braverman. And then I bought your book, and in your book, we spoke a few times, and then in your book, you talk about going to a folk high school when you were 17, and how it changed your life. And I said, what's a folk high school? And then I said, Rachel, have you ever heard of a folk high school? Are they still around? And we started doing research, and that literally led us, which is why it's so gratifying for us to have you here full circle. We've never met in person, and we're so inspired by you. And that's how we found out about folk high schools, through your wonderful work. So thank you for that.
It captures it perfectly. That's what it's like to go to folk school, like every step of the way. That's perfectly captured. How did you choose your people you were going to follow? And were there any people you started following who didn't make it into the final film?
Not super much. I mean, in the beginning, we always film a bunch of people, and we kind of start discussing and figuring out how to start puzzling together a group. And the three that we ended up focusing on, all three of them, the first time that we interviewed them, said something that was stunningly intimate. So there was like a hook for us right away. They just seemed like, Wendy on tour told me that he didn't have any friends. My eyes like filled up with tears. Just because no one has ever said that out loud to me. People just don't say that stuff to each other. So just the level of they were so generous with their intimacy and vulnerability that we kind of just got them right away. Plus they were all in the dog line, and we knew from the beginning we really wanted to focus on the dog line because we also really loved the teachers, and we met them the year before, and they sold it to us. They sealed the deal that we should definitely go to this school and focus on the dogs. And then luckily these 3 people signed up for the year.
They each articulated something that they wanted to change about themselves and something they wanted about different in their lives. And so we thought, okay, these people don't know how to achieve the goal, but they have something they want here. There's a reason they're going here. It's not just to have a gap year and relax. And so we followed that. I wonder if they're gonna get what they want here. And so we didn't really film that many others. We stuck with these 3. It was a bit of a risk. And then when Roman left, we were a little panicked. And he was gone for about a month. Only 9 minutes for you guys, but felt like a month though, right? So we kind of doubled and tripled down on those 3.
So folk school is about change. It's about they purportedly, these schools, there's a bunch of them, it's not just dog sledding, and they supposedly, they like lure students in with a topic, but then the whole thing is about like personal development, and it's very much intentional on the part of the teachers. It's not an accident that they're coaching students through elements of their character that they're struggling with. And so, given that you spent so much time at a folk school, I'm wondering what you learned about yourself and what changed in you as you were making this.
I'd like to hear I'd like to hear this. I've never heard you answer this question. What did you learn at Folk High School? Did you go to Folk High School?
No, I never went to Folk High School. I went to the military. So I had a different kind of experience. But no, it's a really interesting question. I don't know, first and foremost, I think that I was really happy that someone from outside of Norway could make this film. Now I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about these 2, obviously. I think that, I don't know, I just felt that we were such a good group. And maybe that was kind of, the Folk High School group was also a good group, and maybe that tied us more together and made us stronger and created a bond that was really special for us as well. Maybe that is what I learned. I don't know. Yeah.
They would eat in the cafeteria, they would eat reindeer meat, we would eat reindeer meat. You know, like we did what they did. And as a group, as our tiny little crew, we weren't going out at night to any discos, you know, like we were hanging out. So yeah, I think the crew we were very, very bonded, and we became very close friends. And
I think we became very patient. Because we
Maybe
needed to be, because there was something about, obviously they were having this year that they were going to learn something about themselves. It's a very important year for the students that are there, and also for the teachers, and they require a certain focus, and we needed to respect that focus, and we obviously respected their boundaries a lot, because we needed to create something that felt authentic and had that experience that you talk about. And that is also why I'm so happy that someone from the outside actually made this film, because I think for us it's something ordinary, and I don't think and feel that we can portray it in a way that makes sense in a way. Yeah. So I was just really happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have an equivalent here of like a publicly funded thing that's meant to make people better, happier people.
Make better people. Yeah. In a year.
What about filming the dogs? One thing I noticed, if I can jump in, it is hard to film sled dogs without them looking at the camera. Because it's interesting. So none of the dogs were looking at the camera. How did you do that?
We just told them not to look at the camera. It was easy.
They speak only Norwegian, so he would tell them in Norwegian. Long lenses.
Yeah, long lenses. And no, there were so many challenges, as Heidi said as well. Like every time we went out to shoot the dogs, there were new challenges that we needed to find a solution to.
Can we give a quick example?
Yeah. For example, like cameras shutting down because of the cold. Like, for example, we used a lot of different equipment. We used drones. We used GoPro, like small cameras that we could attach to the sleds with grips, a gimbal. We spent a lot of time, but actually just the right amount of time to figure it out in a way that made sense. So the final, for example, a lot of the shots are from the sort of final sled trip that they do in Karasjok. And we had gone on sled trips like 3 times before that. And all of the times we sort of just like a test. And to how do we even do this? And
We call
how
it
do
the
we
trial
not
and
make the
failure.
GoPros
Trial
down?
and failure. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
those
yeah.
are,
And yeah, there were a lot of drones that went haywire, and I don't know. It was crazy, but it also worked, and we learned every bit of the way. We learned something new, and that was
Every usable shot of dog sledding is made
it's
into
probably
the
in the
movie.
film.
But it's kind of, yeah, I guess like just filming that as a good sequence of it was like our version of like finishing the folk high school, because every time we had to like take something that worked and hold on to that one, and then, you know, and as you probably know, Lars couldn't get on the sled. Yeah, so he could only shoot it from a snowmobile.
But then a snowmobile makes noise.
Yeah, but the dogs didn't seem to care.
He got on the
You
sled
can't
once,
hear a
but
snowmobile.
yeah, you were able to get on like once, but only with dogs. No
Yeah, I
people.
got it a couple of times actually.
Yeah.
Like, and I also drove like the drone from the sled. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like we did.
We did,
several.
yes, yeah.
It was crazy.
And we kept, the drone kept falling out of the sky and like into the snow, and he was always mad, like looking for the drone. And we kept sending it back to Germany because we had a warranty, and they're like, what are you doing to this drone? And we're like, nothing. I don't know, your drone is broke. So we just kept sending it back to Germany.
How did
Tell
you,
them.
Oh, sorry. And how did the Fates story become part of this?
The tree, well, there was like a accumulation of signs that we took. Iselin told us the story of the Norns, and it's one of the basic Nordic myths, you know, that they live on the base of the tree and they help figure out people's destinies. And she told us a really cool version of that story that seemed to really mirror what the kids were going through in terms of, you know, hope, disappointment, learning how to be a storyteller. And then we found the tree, and the tree was crazy. There was no reason for that tree to be there.
We call it Guillermo del Toro's tree.
If the tree was in the middle of a forest, there's no other trees that look like that. And then all the kids knit all the time. And then we decided that maybe Iselin was secretly a Norn, because she is also always helping people with their destiny. And then we just started experimenting and, you know, wrapping trees and running through the woods in the middle of the night, and just kind of like what we did with the dog sledding. We're just trying things and experimenting, and it took us a really long time to figure it out. But like the last day of our edit, kind of how it is, it was finished.
And then I know we have to end. We went back. Was it August when we wrapped the tree?
Yeah.
And to do the final shot, and we hired a production designer. We got all the permission from the county to wrap the tree, get the scaffolding and the whole thing. And it took many days for them to wrap the tree. And we photographed it, and then we had to unwrap it and leave no trace. And everybody who would wrap the tree was like, they were sad, hugging it, taking pictures. It was the end of the production, and there was something so symbolic to watch it come down, and we knew that our folk high school year was also over. So in so many ways it mirrored their experience, and it was an experience of a lifetime making this film. And I hope you liked it, and you'll tell your friends to come see it when it opens in theaters in July and August. And you know, they do a lot of saunas. There's a lot of saunas in Norway, so thank you for sharing the sauna with us tonight. Thank you so much.